Millions of the labor force in the world and thousands of professionals here in Botswana continue to work from home in an effort to cope with the unprecedented health challenge that we find ourselves in. In an effort to meet deadlines with speed due to the uncertain possible health protocols which may be imposed without prior notice, many of these professionals have remained glued to their laptops, tablets and cell phones for long hours. During their health breaks, they turn to their television sets to catch the latest news updates. Medical professionals say extended exposure to these screens have brought the challenges of what they called excessive exposure to blue light, which may result in low productivity levels as a result of insufficient sleep. Dr. Khiran Bhagat explains.
The key point is about blue light. Sunlight is the main source of blue light, and being outdoors during daylight is where most of us get our exposure to it. However, it's important to remember that unlike ultraviolet light, which is often in high concentration bad for the eyes, the eye is evolved in such a way as to block most of the harmful effects of ultraviolet rays from reaching the light-sensitive portion, which we call the retina, at the back of the eyeball. But on the other hand, blue light is much more difficult for the eye to block, and as a result, excessive exposure to blue light can eventually cause damage to the back of the eye, the retina as we called it, and a condition called macular degeneration, which is the leading cause of blindness, particularly in the elderly. The blue light also comes from all our digital technology, so the cell phones, the flat screens, the computer screens, the televisions. And it's important to remember that the blue light that is emitted from these screens resembles the blue light from the sky. And we know that the day-night cycle in the brain is controlled by the amount of blue light exposure. This blue light hits an area behind the eye called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This has direct connection to the brain and alerts the brain as to whether it's daytime or nighttime. And therefore, being exposed to blue light continuously, particularly at night, fools the brain into thinking that it's still daylight. And as a result, the mechanisms that induce sleep, hormones such as melatonin, are not switched on. And as a result, people have difficulty in falling asleep, particularly after spending hours in front of a screen. This is the reason why increasingly there are what are called blue light filters and protective eyewear to prevent digital eye strain, the effects of insomnia or frequent wakefulness as a result of insomnia, fatigue and difficulty in concentrating during the day because you've not got enough good hygienic sleep as a result of excessive blue light exposure, etc.
There as it may, Dr. Bhagat says some exposure to light is not totally bad, provided it is administered by qualified medical practitioners in what is called phototherapy. This is a kind of treatment that involves exposure to fluorescent light bulbs or other light sources to treat certain medical conditions.
Light therapy or phototherapy is commonly referred to as heliotherapy. This is exposure to daylight or some equivalent of light as a treatment for various conditions that we've been using actually for many, many centuries. Initially started in China, India, Egypt, and more latterly in Greek and Roman times. The medical uses for light therapy are usually for skin conditions which involve exposure to ultraviolet light. The exposure can be to a small area of the skin or in a tanning bed. And classic conditions include dermatitis, which is an itchy skin condition in which we used ultraviolet treatment, psoriasis, another inflammatory condition caused by the immune system, and ultraviolet radiation is known to suppress the immune system and reduce this inflammation and is often used historically for several decades as an effective treatment for psoriasis. Another condition is vitiligo. About 1% of the population suffers from vitiligo, which causes a painless light-colored patches all over the skin, in the hands and the face and the legs. And phototherapy is an effective treatment because it forces skin cells to manufacture melanin, which is the chemical that colors the skin to protect the body from ultraviolet damage. We also use it in teenagers who have a very severe form of acne, as we know that moderate evidence for the effectiveness of blue and blue-red light therapies in treating acne. More recently, more exciting developments according to the American Cancer Society is that there is increasing evidence that ultraviolet therapy can be used as an effective treatment in certain types of skin cancer. And currently being used for this application is ultraviolet blood irradiation for certain types of skin cancer. We also use it light therapy, particularly red light therapy, to treat certain superficial melanoma skin cancers.
Before we part, let us be encouraged to practice impeccable hygiene habits during this wave of the coronavirus epidemic. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and disinfect all surface areas in your homes, workplaces and any other places frequently. Reduce unnecessary travels and contact. With that, we have come to the end of our program. Until next week, keep safe and have a pleasant evening. Good night. This program was brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?